All that our president is doing through the advice of the hawks of NDC is to set a third-term agenda for his leadership.
Nada na mafota Mahama sa. Odwe wa wonti ase. Papa yin kan hwe so obekọ bio. Wose aka ni fie na oba be your mind oba be resetting.
Wase President Mahama, now it is a joke for anybody to use 4 years to develop this country. It is a joke.
Yesterday, people were jubilating and said that, oh, President Mahama said that he's not going to run for a third term, and that blah, blah, blah. If you believed that he was actually going to run for a third term, then you must have Taflache, your head examined again, Taflache.
AFENYO-MARKIN family GH Xtra TV so. Mobeka ye pa Sir John Dramani Mahama. The first time, we interview be edit to Montier so say, Ghana, 4 years I had the book on mine, a book on mine home brown. Isa. Na when you are better abanya eswo ebiebno. Nipa bebre na esusu say. When we have for John Dramani Mahama, when you to third majority, our parliament and the assembly she obey you so and the whole extra term. And I'm so Emma NPP and money be or much so who a woman thing as so a your church in China in say, yes, say John Dramani Mahama and NDC for or more person do among eka a year chief justice, a year justice, Alaba Tukunu, Nabotaya eta actually NSA, or person do a munipa, a busy ho. Now what me abwa ama a John Dramani Mahama, the third term agenda no abaso.
Yes, for what he's doing, we have seen the end result of it. And what is it? And the end result is that there is a provision in our constitution, Article 66, which says that a president cannot be in office for 2 terms. But President Mahama wants to mysteriously interpret it to mean 2 terms mean 2 consecutive terms. So therefore, if he has not been in office for 2 consecutive terms, he can go for a 3rd term. But that is not the case. Our case, 2 terms is 2 terms. Whether consecutive, whether successive, whether disjointed, 2 terms is 2 terms. 2028, his term of office comes to an end.
So the link is that he wants to remove Chief Justice to be able to interpret the Constitution as he wants.
Yes, he wants to remove Chief Justice, bring his own Chief Justice. As you are aware, he has brought about 7 judges to the Supreme Court. All of this is employed to make sure he empanels the bench, has majority in the judiciary so that they can interpret it to suit what he wants to do. That is his hidden agenda.
And run for the 3rd term.
And run for the 3rd term.
Okay, thank you. So is it a constitutional coup?
More so. It's more of a constitutional coup. That's what he tends to do. And that's when they choose that. Does it make sense?
So even the Council of State is at close.
It's rather unfortunate that the Council of State that is supposed to be a conscience for the good people of Ghana are being biased. They are being manipulated by the president. And that is why they are supporting the president. It is very sad. It's a sad day for Ghana. It is something that the whole world must know. That the president wants to extend his tenure of office. That's why he's suspending the Chief Justice.
Thank you.
Abusuanya nunkwa eye odumunyamfo a yefre no AFENYO-MARKIN ukupimu eye mrahye ono na eye edonkuma oda omo ano ono so eye press conference chinchirinchi de tumonten so se wa hwepete kramu anuma bia ba bekangu nasum Sir John Dramani Mahama wani NDC fo ene mpanifo ni bi omo ye kululu bi se de be ya obisan akọ extra eye term.
All that the NDC is doing, all that our president is doing through the advice of the hawks of NDC is to set a 3rd term agenda for his leadership.
Nana B ukopiemu osunko kwamanyoko NPP mu a ono no ye national organizer ono so edebeto monte eso say waye intel bi wanya yes information bi from ebununimu secret pa say eye John Dramani Mahama opese oko extra term
to modern or the fact baby now this is an intel we have gotten. Someone who said Donald Trump is trying to do something on public. USA when you third term of the court.
Yeah.
So what does it?
Yes.
It's hard you put it behind Abayura Muhammad. I'm telling you. Okay? Ghana Yamra Pono to me and sister an entrenched clause. Article 66 next say a year of Mampeni Bia with 2 terms. So what's a chairman, a parliament, not parliament, get to Mukrana. Obesa Kogana Fonina, walk up to Swaba, the first referendum. No, Opon be Pia Baba Twabano. It would 75%. Or say almost Twabano. Say I almost theatre Yan sister am running. Now, Omuni say, and ya be a omit me 75%. Say, I can't see a Twaba, dear mom. The younger so my say, at the Yetminia control, oh, judiciary this war. Now, yet the judicial interpretation of the Constitution. Apple Supreme Court say, ye pentremu, oh, Article 66, no, I say, Obliabe running 2 terms, no. Does it mean, say, I was a year, 2 terms, straight away, continuous? And I say, a breaky, now, Sabbath was war, still now, 2 terms, and then they will get a favorable response. Oh, I was a year continuous, so that you can satisfy the requirement of the Constitution. It says also running 2 terms. Now, here, Mahama, no, they can't call first term, and I hear not go for every year, 2 terms, no about. So that obey to me without going for referendum, obey you see the back door of judicial interpretation of the Constitution. Change 2 terms, no to me another term.
Na onumuyan for back when from abron DCD na eye nwoma oto na ble na ble na enam sokra mani didi eye Archbishop Duncan William atem say omoka ho omo yekululu said be ya John Dramani Mahama ebeko eye extra term
papa and na to aba wie ya adentina mene Duncan Williams wo bika adia na was start here 2 weeks ago 3 weeks ago 1 month ago asambe no akwa or say President Mahama, now it is a joke for anybody to use 4 years to develop this country. It is a joke. A dear meeting na kwaswo. And now NPP before me be hu. Mo misane say meeting ben na okọ ya oni panyin kase pa e wo Ghana ha. Panyin pa Ekoya or no Duncan Williams, any panini no you sue 1 car, and a decosa meeting Mumisano. And people for Mumisano.
Nana de ajabu aja anya babedu John Dramani Mahama to na num to pay say or no emra ene de no besi abanua no eso wanye na adwene da so obekọ extra term bi ni 4 years no twawi a wawie obema kwan ama manfo ana afoforo so aba na wei ena chese ama MPP fo ni bi omo ani atutu aka won ensem
na manfo ta Mahama sa odwen wa wonti ase papa yin kan hwe so obekọ bio wose aka ni fie na oba be ye oman ni oba be ye resetting na manfo ahase manfo wo se ye bona ba so wa ye economy ni ye o niam mu adwofan am se opese osan kọ bio eno opese osan se constitution no Mahama say ono ye beto aba e ka bebre ba ye bo no ono onkọ bio wo ommo ne hoka
Good as usual.
Pacho President onya tetema obeko.
Oh, anya no kwehwe omambeni Mahama. Minimum no be at least 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, can obi an ho doa. Ayo no.
Okay.
MPP for abofo fe bibi ridiculous lies. Sabi impediasa. Nyansa, sabi. Atro semo a sabi impediasa. Ento aso mo so nka ho. Wo se ntro bi wo ha. Se one no mo sukwa be ka se no kre. Because se nipa na betumi aka no. But omo de ntro a sabi impediasa. Ensa so nto aso mu.
I see.
Se wo kan obofo a sabi impediasa. Ma no de sumi na so.
Senseless no na say anu e de wo de
lies. Eye. Asa na wo betumi asesa constitution wo Ghana. Ebe nyina tetem no. I was here the money for the referendum you be a friend entrenched clause. And no emra 18 margin hini pa wo betu afi wa wo hia 2/3 of Ghana for ba akoto aba ansa na o masesa. There's no way I beto aba Ghana ha party be 2/3 of the votes.
Okay.
Nti enya de besipo.
Now, are you sure say all these initiatives, President Betimi within 4 years? Or maybe and you say, okay, let's use the court process. Now you say, oh, okay, one 2 terms consecutive. You know,
what the Ghana policies just check. Politics here in Ghana and with the check. So what President Mahama pa also be able to accommodate them. I will be a tiamra. Now, Nipa a cassetia the crown within Sawas. Nipa kasetiano ya no ono obudin sa manasa woni azuri ono ane no mutu oye publication bi tia president be ka won kwa president ma di nkuguo 2016 na so president ma nya ne ntie se nipa bonefo bi bu afu nti on person ma ye de dom no o ma asrafo ko bo ne ho ban wo di fie.
Okay.
No bi o se sa no betumi ayi bi tia.
Ebia na ni nipa so ni beautiful na so kai onim di phobia so power corrupt and absolute power corrupt absolute ebia na power no.
Ghana ha there's nothing like absolute power.
Okay.
Absolute power ni will be say ni awaye ku a constitution ni o.
But we have an executive president who has so much executive power.
We don't have a lot of power, but we need absolute power. There are checks and balances.
Okay.
Say ne oye bi na court na high court judge. Eka say e legal obejai because he is restrained by a high court.
Okay.
Intimamen kansi sudua. Sa asem na MPP for nka no e ka say opetetem no e ya tro sem an sanso nto asomu. It is baseless. You see,
with the John Dramani Mahama ma ade ayaman for pa susukuru no mususu ba no wamana pa gukra pa no just a man for it is see ano ohia TV den on beka no hobi agenda na nya dwuma.
Yesterday, people were jubilating and said that, oh, President Mahama said that he's not going to run for a third term, and that blah, blah, blah. If you believed that he was actually going to run for a third term, then you must have Taflache, your head examined again, Taflache. Must be re-examined again, Taflache. Because there's nowhere in our constitution that supports that claim. And you see, again, we politicized the committee work against the removal, around the removal of the Chief Justice. We politicized it. Because we say that, oh, the president is now packing the Supreme Court with his people so he can pave the way for him to do. I mean, Abba. Now the man has come to say, okay, I'm not doing a third term. So all the arguments that were made by all the fine people that we know, what becomes of them and how should we be looking at them going forward? Some of the things, we should not politicize them. Not everything must be politicized. Here ends my sermon. Please.